Welcome to the School of Education Doctoral Colloquium series presentation. My name is Dr. Sheila Vaidya, and I'm a professor in the School of Education at Drexel University. I'm going to be the faculty moderator for this colloquium. We are so pleased to welcome all of our virtual attendees, including School of Education faculty, staff, and students, the university body at large, community members, and partner associations. The Doctoral Student Colloquium series offers the School of Education doctoral students an opportunity to share their original research, to learn from their peers, faculty, and staff. And each month, one EDD and one PhD student presents their research at the colloquium. We are so happy to offer this colloquium, which is both on campus at Drexel University and on the Zoom during the course of this academic year. This session helps doctoral students connect with each other and develop a community that is available in supporting their journeys in the program. Each presenter is also asked to write a research brief that relates to his or her their research presentation, which is titled a Doctoral Student Research Briefs, and it is published on the School of Education's website. The research brief is a way to disseminate the student research as shared in the colloquium. So each presenter will be provided 20 minutes to share his or her research. And if you have questions, you can hold them after the presentation, or you can actually write your question in the chat area, or use a microphone to ask your question. So our first presenter is Neisha Young, who is a doctoral student in the School of Education. She's a PhD student in the School of Education. Neisha Terry is working on a PhD in education leadership and policy. She has over 12 years of experience as a middle and high school teacher in Jamaica and the United States. She holds a teaching diploma from Shortword Teachers College in Jamaica and a BA in English from Georgia State University and an MA in English from Southern New Hampshire University. Her research examines the intersectional identities of Black immigrant students and explores ways in which policy, curriculum, and pedagogy can be influenced to support immigrant students' multifaceted identities in various ways. Today, Neisha will be speaking about conceptualizations of creativity in the Jamaican primary school grade 4 curriculum. Welcome, Neisha, and we look forward to your presentation.
Hello, everyone. My name is Neisha Terry Young, and I am a doctoral student here at Drexel University. And I'll be sharing some of the work that I've done on conceptualizations of creativity in the Jamaican primary school grade 4 curriculum. This work was born out of research that I did on the knowledge economy and its globalizing impact. Now, the knowledge economy, with its emphasis on 21st century skills such as creativity, innovation, and critical thinking, is an evolving phenomenon that emphasizes creativity-driven outputs and products. And scholars have been arguing that countries and regions that already have a foot in the creativity sector could stand to benefit from this increased emphasis on creativity. However, they argue that this opportunity to benefit from the knowledge economy and creativity is dependent upon the country region's ability to pivot its approach to and conceptualization of creativity, or as Friedman argues, its ability to horizontalize, that is to position itself to benefit from the knowledge economy. Now, the Caribbean region, with emphasis on creativity, especially as it relates to the export of culture and the development of tourism, is thought to be well positioned to be a leader in this creativity-focused economy. But scholars posit that the region has been falling behind others in this sector. Jamaica, which is the largest English-speaking island in the Caribbean, has a global reputation as a creativity hub, with things such as reggae music and its reputation as a popular tourist destination. In fact, phrases such as "we lick about with talawa," "we can turn me hand make fashion," and "one coke of full basket" are testament to the role that creativity plays in the identity of the Jamaican people and of Jamaica itself. Now, over the last decade, the government of Jamaica has been cognizant of this need to horizontalize and has been convening conferences to explore the ways in which it can do that and improve its creative output. The most recent such exploration involved its meeting with UNESCO in April 2022 to discuss its role in Creative Caribbean, which is a program funded by a 3-year multi-million-dollar grant that helps with the development of creativity in 15 nations within the Caribbean, Jamaica included. Now, while there has been much focus on bolstering creativity-focused policies and approaches in Jamaica, especially as it relates to the economic and tourist sector, this study argues that there is a need to also explore creativity in the education system. Now, of course, there have been other studies that have done just this. Other studies have looked at the ways in which the education system impacts creativity and its corresponding impact on the economy. And they've also explored the ways in which creativity and creative outputs such as drama and music and art have been leveraged to influence societal issues such as violence, as well as to promote tourism. However, the study that I'm sharing takes a little bit of a different approach because it explores the foundation of the education system itself by looking at the curriculum and examining the ways in which creativity is conceptualized and embedded within the curriculum that students are exposed to. As such, this study aims to interrogate the conceptualization of creativity as evidence at the primary school level. And primary school in Jamaica corresponds to what we call elementary school here in the United States. The study also explores the role of culture in creativity conceptualization, as culture is a key construct when considering the role of creativity in education. As such, my research questions are: how is creativity conceptualized in the Jamaican grade 4 PEP curriculum? And what is the role of culture in the conceptualization of curricular elements related to creativity? And when I say curricular elements here, I'm looking at things like objectives and assessments. The study is predicated on Rhodes 4Ps as the undergirding theoretical framework. And Rhodes argued that creativity can be considered or conceptualized in 4 different ways. So he thinks of creativity being conceptualized as person, where we look at how people have this intrinsic traits and characteristics that predisposes them to be thought of as creative. He also argues that creativity can be considered as process, where we look at how we create or how we use our creativity in terms of critical thinking skills. Creativity, Rhodes also argued, can be seen as product, where the emphasis on what is invented or the special service that has been designed. So what is a tangible product that has come about or been actualized because of creativity. And finally, creativity can be conceptualized as place or explored as place, where you look at the environment and how it promotes intrinsic motivation, which encourages creative expression. And so my goal was to see whether and if these 4 Ps could be found within the curriculum that I examined. As it relates to my data collection, I utilized the document analysis, which is a method where documents are systematically analyzed in order to arrive at some new insights based on pre-established research questions. And I selected the Jamaican grade 4 PEP curriculum as the document for analysis. PEP stands for Primary Exit Profile, and it's a series of curriculum and corresponding assessments that are given to students in grades 4, 5, and 6. And these are designed to measure students' mastery and preparedness for high school. Now, I selected grade 4 because in Jamaica, grade 4 is a transitional year where students are moving away from the more play-based curriculum of grades 1 to 3, and they're moving into the rigor of more high school focused curriculum, like they're preparing to move on to high school. And so I thought it would be interesting to explore how creativity is conceptualized and embedded in the curriculum at this very pivotal moment in students' academic career. The PEP curriculum is divided into 4 discrete discipline areas. So language arts, science, social studies, and mathematics. And each area is divided according to 3 terms, terms 1, 2, and 3. So as I looked across the grade 4 curriculum, I realized that the curriculum itself was almost 400 pages long. As such, I decided to analyze a cross-section of the curriculum, and I used random allocation to identify the term on which I would focus, as well as the units on which I would focus my assessment. So using random allocation, I identified term 2 as a term for focus. Now, each discipline had different numbers of units for term 2. So utilizing random allocation, I was able to identify units 1 and 2, term 2 for language arts, units 3 and 4, term 2 for mathematics, units 1 and 2, term 2 for science, and units 2 and 3, term 2 for social studies. I then engaged in open, axial, and selective coding in order to examine phrases and excerpts connected to creativity throughout the selected units. And then from there, open codes were created and then collapsed into axial codes and then finally into selective codes, which, once the process was completed, allowed the different elements of those 4 Ps to emerge from the analysis. So I'm going to go ahead now and share my findings, but before I delve into the details of my findings, I want to very quickly summarize the findings. So my analysis of the cross-section of the Jamaican grade 4 PEP curriculum revealed that in the grade 4 PEP curriculum, creativity is popularly conceptualized as 3 of the 4 Ps. So I was able to identify creativity as process, creativity as product, and creativity as press. However, there was not much emphasis on creativity as person. I also noticed that there was uneven distribution of emphasis on creativity as press across the 4 disciplines. And that I will expand upon as I continue my presentation. So as it relates to my finding of creativity as process, I want to very quickly remind us what creativity as process refers to. This view of creativity emphasizes creative thinking, where creativity is indicated by one's ability to think critically and divergently in ways that lead to innovation and problem solving. And I was able to see this emphasis on critical thinking and innovation in the objectives across all four disciplines, in the philosophical statements that undergird all four disciplines across the Unit 2, and also in the assessments. For example, one math objective requires teachers to engage students in problem-solving situations involving deduction and critical thinking. And a science philosophy argues that in a rapidly evolving technological age with new and emerging problems such as those associated with climate change, citizens must be able to evaluate situations, solve problems, create and innovate solutions. So here we see this emphasis on critical thinking and an emphasis on innovation, which is evidence of creativity as a process. Indeed, in the language arts term 2, unit 2 strand, we see this requirement for students to communicate with confidence and competence for different purposes and audiences, using standard Jamaican English and Jamaican Creole appropriately and creatively. So again, we're seeing where students are required to be able to think critically in order to select from their linguistic repertoire the register of language most appropriate based on the context of communication. So it is clear that in the grade 4 PEP curriculum, there's an emphasis on creativity as process and an emphasis on critical thinking and innovation. Creativity as product was also evidenced, and creativity as product focuses on one's ability to bring an innovative or novel idea that serves a useful purpose to fruition. So there were many assessments across all four disciplines that call for students to create dramatic pieces or to create artwork and musical pieces to reflect their learning. In fact, one science task suggests that teachers require students to individually compose short stories, poems, songs, and letters about the functions and importance of each sense organ, and then to present their composition to the class. So here you see where students are being asked to create something innovative or novel to demonstrate their learning. A mathematics objective, for example, requires students to design games to demonstrate a mathematical concept. Again, students are being asked to create something, to make a product. And as such, it's evident that creativity as a product is one such conceptualization that is stressed across the curriculum. I also identified creativity as press, or what I call cultural mediation. Creativity as press focuses on the environment in which creativity is demonstrated, including this cultural context. And cultural representation in curriculum and pedagogy is important. I found it truly interesting the ways in which the Jamaican culture, the Jamaican landscape and the Jamaican language was integrated across all disciplines into assessments, objectives for students to be able to utilize their background, their identities, and their experiences to engage in learning and to demonstrate mastery of assessment or learning objectives. For example, one assessment requires students to use a web to record words that could be used to describe a scene at a waterfall, beach, or river, and then to compose descriptive pieces based on a prompt. Now, Jamaica is known for its waterfalls, beaches, and rivers, and most, if not all, young children in Jamaica are familiar with these scenic elements of the landscape. As such, students are able to draw on their background experiences, draw on their culture to demonstrate their ability to write descriptively. Another assessment requires students to create a virtual tour of the parish capital and main town after participating in a walkthrough or a drive-through. So here, they're being asked to again engage with their culture, engage with their communities, and use that to demonstrate learning. Another example I have is the assessment that requires students to work with others to identify and solve an issue that is either school or community related, and to engage in creativity as a process by brainstorming novel ways in which the problem might be solved. So again, pulling in their culture, pulling in their background by saying, look at your school, look at your community, identify problems, and then brainstorm solutions to these problems. I also want to pause to talk about the ways in which the curriculum integrates both standard Jamaican English and Jamaican Creole, or what we call patois, into the curriculum itself and into objectives, into assessments. And as such, the curriculum embraces this local dialect, which is a really fabulous way in which culture is embraced within the curriculum. As I mentioned earlier in my summary, creativity as person was not fully evident in the curriculum design. Additionally, the level of cultural sustenance was uneven across the 4 discipline strands. You see, while the language arts and the social studies portions of the curriculum were heavily inundated with cultural touchstones, the mathematics and science sections were less reflective of creativity as press. Now, with the importance of STEM in the current globalized marketplace and the importance of STEM in the knowledge economy, it is a key that Jamaica works on improving the infusion of culture in mathematics and science as a way to bolster students' ability to utilize their identities and their culture to improve their mastery of mathematics and scientific concepts. So just again to recap, the assessment revealed that the grade 4 PEP curriculum conceptualizes creativity as a process and a product, and then creativity as press is interwoven within the fabric of the curriculum itself, where tasks and activities are mediated through the lens of culture. Further research is needed, however, to explore the role of person in the curriculum, as well as to expand our understanding of how the conceptualization in the grade 4 curriculum compares to other grade levels, and ways to leverage creativity in society to position students and the nation to thrive in this knowledge economy. One limitation of this study is the fact that it was carried out solely via the medium of document analysis. There was no triangulation of findings that could have come through interviews and observations. This, therefore, is an opportunity for further work to be carried out in this area. Additionally, it would have been interesting to compare grade level curricula by looking at a cross-section of grades rather than just a single grade level. Also, considering that I only examined a cross-section of the grade 4 curriculum, it would also be an excellent approach to examine the entire curriculum itself to see if the patterns hold true. These are my references, and I thank you for listening. I appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Neisha. And I think Neisha is not able to be here because she's at another conference. So we could take questions and which you can send over to her, or we can actually you can actually put your questions in the chat, which we will also make sure that she can respond to, and we send them to her. Dr. Hill, did you want to say something?
Thank you, Dr. Vaija. Actually, we will reschedule our scheduled presenter for a future date, so you will get to hear from her. And I have a few announcements about International Week. So if you don't mind, if we take a little time to do that, I'll walk us through some events. So November 14th through the 18th is International Education Week. And if you don't know, International Education Week is a joint initiative of the U.S. Department of State and the U.S. Department of Education to recognize the global exchange environment between the U.S. and other countries. It's an opportunity to celebrate and highlight international education and exchange opportunities and other globally focused activities. So the week is really dedicated to enhancing international awareness across campus and also recognizing the value of the exchange of students and scholars across the border. So I'm pleased to be able to share with you, and you can save the date on a number of things that are coming up. So there are several events happening across campus and in person and online, and several of the events are actually sponsored sponsored by the School of Education or School of Education faculty. So on Tuesday, November 15th at 6:00 p.m. Eastern, we'll be screening the Fora Education film, again, in person and online. The film is titled Dreams of Birds Flying in the Sky, and it's a groundbreaking award-winning documentary by director Aran Badarai, and it's the first film to feature the lives of persons with disabilities in Bhutan. The experiences of those featured in the film tell the stories of the complexities of disabled realities in education, training, entrepreneurship, work, culture, and religion. And while many of the stories present a shared experience of being disabled in Bhutan, the differences of urban and rural lives, gender, and abilities are explored. Bhutan may be known as the land of gross national happiness, but opportunities to realize happiness are tempered by the many challenges that persons with disabilities face. After the screening, Dr. Matthew Shulka, the founder and CEO of Fora Education and a lecturer at the University of Minnesota, will be present to talk about the film and field any questions. We also have on Wednesday, November 16th from 12 to 6 p.m. Eastern, students and faculty can participate in the online Global Teach Connection Conference. And this conference is organized by Dr. Joyce Pittman. During this international summit, participants will hear from global activists, educators, and leaders about how our projects or organizations are connecting scholars into our programming by offering resources and sharing education networks. Then we have two other things the School of Education has organized that are directly maybe interesting to faculty who are interested in global experiences. So on November 15th at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, we have Take Your Expertise Global. It's an opportunity to join the Fulbright Specialist Program. So if you're interested in that, the Fulbright Specialist Program is a part of the larger Fulbright program. It provides U.S. citizens who are established professionals or academics with an opportunity to engage in short-term, 2 to 6 week project-based exchanges at host institutions at more than 150 eligible countries. The session will be delivered by Amira Nelson, who's the Senior Outreach Officer for the Fulbright Specialist Program at World Learning, and will provide insights on the program's eligibility requirements, benefits, the application process, and examples of past Fulbright Specialist projects. The time or additional time will be reserved for starting the application, and you'll actually have support from our School of Ed colleagues who participated in the program, Jennifer Adams, Kristen Betts, and Christy Kelly. And that is also available in person and online. And then finally, we have on Thursday, November 17th, Learn About Israel Faculty Fellowship. So if you're interested in establishing research collaborations and exchange with counterparts in Israel, Jennifer Adams and Tamara Galoyan, the 2022 recipients from Drexel School of Education, will share their experiences and discuss the application process for the Israel Faculty Fellowship. And again, this is a competitive academic fellowship that invites full-time university and college faculty to apply to participate in an all expenses paid 2-week academic trip to Israel. The program seeks to link scholars from diverse disciplines with their Israeli counterparts at major institutions, really for the purpose of initiating exchanges and collaboration. It's enhanced with participants meeting with professionals and experts involved in government, industry, education, media, and other sectors to really understand the many facets of Israel's evolving national and international policies. And again, that program will be available online. So there's additional information available on the Drexel events page, but just wanted to remind you again that November 14th through the 18th is International Education Week, and we have lots of things for you to participate in. And those events are also listed on the Drexel events page. So with that, I'll turn it back to Dr. Vaisha. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Does anyone else have any announcements to make? Okay, so are there any questions for Neisha Young and her presentation that you want to send to us, or put them on the chat, and that might be the best way for us to get them off the chat and send them to her. But I thought that if anybody had any questions right now, they could share them with us at this point. Okay, if there are no questions, then I think that we are very pleased to have this session. And we want you to know that usually there are 2 presenters, but one of them is not available because she's recovering from illness. So the next month's colloquiums event will be on December the 2nd, and we look forward to seeing everybody at that event. And likely will be the presenter who was not able to be here today will likely be will be present at the December 2nd colloquium series. So thank you everyone for attending this session. And oh yes, I see some chat comments, which we will definitely send to Neisha Young. So so thank you for attending, and have a great day and best wishes for a great weekend. Bye.